You probably know Kenosha, Wisconsin as the town where 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse blew holes through 3 anarchists, 2 of whom went to meet their maker pretty much on the spot. The third piece of human excrement to get shot, Gage Groskowitz, had a bicep vaporized but lived to testify against Rittenhouse. But thanks to the idiot prosecutors trying to throw Rittenhouse in prison for life or hang him in town square, Groskowitz testified that he drew his gun on Rittenhouse first. Rittenhouse was then obviously found not guilty on all counts, both destroying a sickening sense of thug entitlement and simultaneously sending a chilling message to Antifa D-bags everywhere. F around and find out. Click, click. And a definite well is in order. As it turns out, young Kyle wasn't the only one that felt that way, as the people of Kenosha sent a strong and very clear message to the left. You see, Kenosha County held elections on Tuesday, and the people have spoken. And in the words of every decent bartender everywhere, quote, "Democrats, you don't have to go home, but you need to get the hell out of here." RRH Elections tweeted out late last night, after 2 years in the headlines for various forms of violence, Kenosha has elected a Republican executive for the first time in decades. This is a key, light red swing county in Wisconsin. That was mentioned alongside Real Political Data's tweet, breaking news: the Republicans have just flipped the Kenosha County executive after years of Democrat dominance. So yes, voters elected the first female county executive, Samantha Kirkman, who also happens to be the first Republican elected to the position after decades of Democrat dominance. Though the elections were considered nonpartisan, both candidates have their followers, and Kirkman is definitely a Republican. Fun fact, Kenosha County is a swing county in a swing state. Trump was the first Republican since Nixon to win the county in 2016, and he won by only 238 votes. He also won Kenosha County in 2020 by approximately 2,700 votes. The pesky BLM riots in Kenosha, of course, were sparked when police shot Jacob Blake 7 times as he was reaching into his car to retrieve a knife after police had stopped him for sexually assaulting an ex-girlfriend. Oh, and how can we forget that Kamala Harris contacted Jacob Blake and told him she was, quote, proud of him. In another nonpartisan race, as if that's even possible these days, Republican-backed Maria Lazar spanked incumbent Court of Appeals Judge Lori Kornblum. A conservative group ran attack ads associating Kornblum with John Chisholm, the district attorney blamed for giving, quote, inappropriately low bail to the black supremacist Darrell Brooks, who ran over more than 60 white people, killing 6, including 5 elderly folks and a child, in a Waukesha Christmas parade last year. A risk assessment of Brooks, who praised Hitler, proved that he would commit more crimes. D.A. Chisholm knew that his woke Marxist approach to crime would result in murder. He admitted it in an interview. Quote, is there going to be an individual I divert or put into a treatment program who's going to go out and kill somebody? Chisholm asked in 2007. Quote, you bet. Guaranteed. It's guaranteed to happen. It does not invalidate the overall approach, unquote, he said. You see, the quote, overall approach is to let friends in arms walk free because, you know, that's woke. It's a cancer, people. It takes over every part of you. You eat woke. You sleep woke. Everything is about the movement. Like a freaking jihadi. Anyways, Kenosha Republican-backed school board candidates won 2 of 3 seats as well. Newcomers Eric Meadows and Christine Schmeling took 2 of 3 seats up for grabs. The longtime Democrat-backed incumbent Rebecca Stevens received the most votes and will keep her post for now. John Cardillo tweeted out, Kenosha, Wisconsin elected the first GOP county executive in history. Anti-CRT Republican candidates cleaned up in the school board elections, all in Wisconsin. The Democrat brand is dead. So folks, it certainly looks like the push to remove Marxists from office is on. We saw Republicans clean house in Virginia last November. Long Island Republicans won 4 out of 4 races on the same damn day. Republicans are expecting a bloodbath in November midterm elections, which are only 216 days away. But who's counting? Well, you know I am. Kenosha, I'm quite sure, is just one of many examples across the country of the way Americans will self-correct or wake up to the cancerous left that have slowly and under the radar taken over key areas of their communities. They destroy education, filling schools full of blue-haired zombies that hate themselves. Now, if they hate themselves, what do you think they would do with your children when you're not around? They take your taxpayer dollars and use them for things no normal person would ever approve of. They completely neuter the justice system and corrupt so many other things because they know you're busy. You see, they know you're busy raising your kids, providing for your family, building a future, and trying to live a normal life. Kenosha, in my eyes anyways, is a prime example of a somewhat small town or city. After years of the left slowly, methodically tearing down society's safeguards that were set up over generations. But luckily, it's small enough that it can be cleaned up and straightened out in no time at all, unlike Baltimore, or Cleveland, or Chicago, or Austin, and on and on and on. To finish up the video, here's an example on a much bigger scale of the infiltration of the leftist cancer being exposed, this time through our own military. This is courtesy of Representative Matt Gaetz.
Mr. Gaetz is recognized for 5 minutes.
Secretary Austin, why should American taxpayers fund lectures at the National Defense University that promote socialism as a strategy to combat China?
It's the National Defense University is an academic institution, and I don't know of any such lecture. But
well, that's surprising because it was widely reported. The National Defense University had Thomas Piketty come, and this was the title of his lecture, Responding to China, the Case for Global Justice and Democratic Socialism. So now that you know that they did this, would you agree that embracing socialism is not an effective strategy to combat China?
Well, I certainly don't agree with embracing socialism. I think.
So that means.
I'm sorry. We're not going to do this. We're not going to let the guy say 4 words and still talk and then cut him off.
Well,
We're just not.
I control the time, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, but you also have to be fair to the witnesses.
No, but I got the answer I wanted. I have a follow-up. My follow-up question is if we don't embrace it, then I guess why did the National Defense University put out a statement? Again, this is funded by U.S. taxpayers, saying in this talk, Mr. Piketty will argue that the right answer lies in ending Western arrogance and promoting a new emancipatory and egalitarian horizon on a global scale, a new form of democratic and participatory, ecological, and post-colonial socialism. So why would we invite people we don't agree with to evangelize views and values that we don't share at the National Defense University when we should be learning strategy about how to combat our enemies and make assessments that are accurate?
And we do learn a lot about strategy and about the military and about joint force development, and so that is our focus in these institutions. I don't know what the context of this particular. Or content of this particular speech was.
Mr. Secretary, I've shared with you the context. The context wasn't better understand socialism so we can defeat it. The context wasn't learn about it so that we can offer countermeasures. The concept was that it's time for socialism. And the reason I know that's the context is because the lecture was pulled from a book written by Thomas Piketty entitled Time for Socialism. And I just can't help but notice.
And so your question was whether or not we...
I control the time.
Your question
was You guys
was
have been
whether
blowing
or not
a lot of calls
socialism.
lately on
The
matters
answer
of
is no.
strategy, Mr. Secretary. You guys told us that Russia couldn't lose. You told us that the Taliban couldn't immediately win. And so I guess I'm wondering, what in the $773 billion that you're requesting today is going to help you make assessments that are accurate in the face of so many blown calls?
You've seen what's in our budget. You've seen how the budget matches the strategy, and so I'll let that speak for itself.
Well, I mean, I've also seen that we're behind, Mr. Secretary. We're behind in hypersonics. We failed to deter Russia. Last year,
so what do you mean we're behind in hypersonics? How do you?
Okay, who's ahead in hypersonics?
How do you make that assessment?
I don't know. I make that assessment because
is it
China is fielding hypersonic weapon systems and we are still developing them. I make that assessment because Russia actually used one. By the way, your own people brief us that we are behind and that China is winning. Are you aware of the briefings we get on hypersonics?
I am certainly aware of briefings that we provide to Congress.
But it's not just the hypersonic. It's all over the world. It's in Taiwan, where China last year flew more sorties than ever before. It's North Korea, on pace to shatter prior records, the number of missiles that they are testing. And so while everyone else in the world seems to be developing capabilities and being more strategic, we got time to embrace critical race theory at West Point, to embrace socialism at the National Defense University, to do mandatory pronoun training. Do you assess?
You know, again, this is the most capable, the most combat-credible force in the world. It has been, and it will be so going forward.
Not if we continue down this path.
To do that.
Not if we embrace socialism.
The fact that you're embarrassed by your country.
Oh no! I'm embarrassed by your leadership. I am not embarrassed for my country. I wish we were not losing to China. I wish we were. You know what? That is so disgraceful that you would sit here and conflate your failures with the failures of the uniformed service members. You guys said that Russia would overrun Ukraine in 36 days. You said that the Taliban would be kept at bay for months. You totally blew those calls. And maybe we would be better at them if the National Defense University actually worked a little more on strategy and a little less on wokeism.
Has it occurred to you that Russia has not overrun Ukraine because of what we've done and our allies have done?
But that was baked into your flawed assessment. That was baked into your flawed assessment. And so I saw that the Obama administration tried to destroy our military by starving it of resources, and it seems the Biden administration is trying to destroy our military by force-feeding it wokeism. I yield back.
Giving credit where it's due, some of this came by way of PJ Media. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box, so please put $1 in the bucket on the way out the door. I'd like to thank everyone for all your donations. They're much needed and much appreciated. Now, with all that being said, we'll see you next time.
Come on, move. Move. Easy, easy.